So today's topic is about who you can trust with your vision. As we all know, this is the ample time for us to be planning, getting things in order, really assessing what we want and how we're going to get it. And when we're in our heads and we're really trying to figure things out, really coming to peace with accepting who we are, assessing our past and everything that we've learned, everything that we've gained, having time to reflect on the things that we've sacrificed, having time to think about the things we're no longer negotiating. When I tell you, I have a list of non-negotiables and it keeps growing. I'm not going to lie to you. The more I get centered and aligned with my purpose and my vision, the more things I just cannot put up with, right? And so I've been through, I've worked with a lot of different types of projects, types of businesses, types of entrepreneurs, types of business people, brands. I've had a lot of different experiences with different relationships. And I know relationships are key to just us being successful. Regardless of whatever your purpose is, at the end of the day, your mission is going to involve people, serving people. God blesses us with people, so we need people, right? But people are human. And, they disappoint us sometimes. And it breaks a level of trust to where we may go into our silos and do the whole 1D. Now, I'm actually more of a loner than people think, but I am so much of a collaborator and wanting to seek knowledge. And I never consider myself self-made, like at all. I will never claim that. But I have done a lot of self-work. And so in the process of you building your vision, trusting yourself is that first step, right? It's not until you truly trust yourself, and then if you don't fully trust yourself, you then lean into God for him to kind of make up that difference. You really got to trust yourself before things start to move and things start to happen. And so once you get in that space where you're like, okay, I'm growing, I'm elevating, I'm accepting new beliefs and exposing myself to different experiences and different conversations and really getting the feel of making up you, because, we're made up of our environment. A lot of our upbringing, who we hang around, they influence who we become. And so it's not until we become fully aligned and fully self-aware where we then can differentiate what's for us and what other people may want for us that may not be what we want for ourselves. And so when we talk about vision casting and really wanting to share your vision, it's important for you to make assessment of who you're having these conversations with. Now, there are seasons where you're in the planning phase or the ideation phase. I definitely don't recommend you to just be sharing your vision with everybody, because then it's going to be like you just sharing ideas. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying once you fully trusted yourself, you've done your due diligence, you've done your planning, you have a proof of concept, and you're like, this is what I'm working towards. When you get confident and know exactly what you're working towards, you're going to need people to help take you there. And so I have 4 golden questions. I'm calling them golden because everything I touch turns gold. I have 4 golden questions I need you to answer. We're going to answer them right now. Because I hope and pray and believe that the people that you are talking to, that you're sharing your vision with, you can actually trust them. So here's the first question. Who was the last person you talked to that inspired you? Now, I know we follow a lot of different sources of inspiration, like online. Some of y'all probably follow Precious Desiree, dope girl. But think about who's the last person you talked to that just gave you some words of encouragement, or that person where you're like, man, I need somebody to help build me up. Like, who is that person that you can call? And I pray that you have that person in your life. So think about who that person is, okay? Now, for these questions, different people may pop up. So I want to make sure I say that. It may not be just one person. It may be several people that can fit within these categories. So first question is, who was the last person that inspired you? Second, who was the last person that prayed with you or prayed for you? Now, I know we're all in different phases of our spiritual journey, but I pray and believe that we are seeking a closer relationship with God. And with that, it's important for you to be talking to people that you know that can pour into you and pour into your spirit, and also pray on your behalf and advocate for you. And so I consider that a big, big component of the people that I trust, and knowing that, you know what, either, their faith matches mine, or when mine is low, theirs is high. Somebody I can truly, truly depend on, that I know has a real connection with God. I think that is very, very important when you're talking to people about what you are dreaming and praying for. So that's the second question. The third question is, who was the last person that voluntarily shared information with you that's aligned with the areas where you want to grow? They just shared information. You didn't ask them about nothing. You haven't even told them anything yet, but they just end up sharing you a blog or article that kind of gave you some more insight on something you were researching. Or they shared you an opportunity to make some money. Or they share with you, maybe just whatever information they know that you're passionate about, or they pay attention enough to know that this could possibly add value to you, and you didn't ask for it, and they just voluntarily shared it. Think about those people that are constantly investing in you and giving you information without you even asking for it. That's such a big deal. And the last question is, who was the last person who voluntarily connected you with someone that can help move your vision forward? Now, that's a big one. People sharing relationships, that's big for me, because when people know how to edify you and be able to connect you where you don't even have to introduce yourself, that is a blessing. Think about those people you have in your life right now where you're like, man, this person can speak on my behalf. I trust them. Really think about those types of conversations. Now, if it was hard to think about who fits in these categories, then I'm going to transition this conversation and really build upon the foundation of trust. Now, my whole intention of putting this training together was to protect you and communicating your vision. Now, like I said, there are seasons where you're working in silence, you're doing your due diligence, you're grinding. But there's also seasons where you need to speak up. You need to start expressing verbally about what you're doing. Because, hey, we know the tongue is powerful. We can only keep the good news to ourselves for so long. And we're going to need people to be on board in order for the ship to really move. Okay? Now, like I said, so if you had some issue or challenges with figuring out and identifying who those people are, then now the question goes to, who can trust you? Who right now do you know that's like, man, I trust this person? Who can say that about you right now? Now, I was doing some research and I found this trust quiz. So it's called, it's a trust quotient assessment. But I made it simple for y'all. Y'all can just go to trustquiz.pagacademy.com and it'll take you right there. I actually have my results that I'm going to share with you. But I'm going to bring up this trust equation, right? So it was pretty interesting, but also it actually made a lot of sense in what we look for when we say that we trust somebody. So the trust equation is credibility plus reliability plus intimacy divided by self-orientation equals trustworthiness. Now, these may be some new words, or you may be like, how do all these come to play? Now, the quiz is like 20 questions, and it has 5 questions for each portion of the equation. And I scored pretty high. I ain't gonna lie. People trust me, okay? They do. That's the only reason I've been able to be this successful, is because people trust me with their vision. They trust that I'm going to come through. They know that they can confide in me. They know that I'm going to keep it honest. They know that I'm going to do everything in faith and with a spirit of excellence. And so the other part of that too is that I'm consistent. Point blank. That's another key component whenever you're building a brand. Your brand is your reputation. And so due to my consistency, due to my accountability, due to my level of performance, people can say, I trust Precious. And so I'm going to quickly go through these, but I really want y'all to take the quiz and get some insight on your trustworthiness. It really provided some good, powerful insight, as well as things that you can work on to be a better trustworthy person. Now, we all have our different phases where we go through life where we don't trust others. We may not even trust ourselves, but we are coming out of that. We're no longer claiming that. We want to be as trustworthy to ourselves and others as possible. because trust is the foundation of every relationship. We know that we need relationships in order to really accomplish what we want out of life. And so it has to be a priority. Building trust has to be a priority. So the first part of the equation is credibility. So credibility has to do with the words that you speak, you know. Example, like, I can trust what she says about intellectual property because she's an expert. Or, you know what, I can trust Precious when it comes to brand management because she's worked with several different brands. You know, my experience then equates to my credibility and the words that people can say to edify me. So that's credibility. Then second is reliability. This has to do with action. Is this person reliable? Is this person dependable? Is this person going to do what they said they were going to do? Reliability is so important. Next is intimacy. Now, we're not talking about, you know, love relationships. We're talking about just human interaction. Can people really trust, like, feel safe when they're talking to you? Do people feel safe? Do you create a safe environment for people to confide in you? That shows the level of intimacy you can experience with others. And so with the equation, it has credibility plus reliability plus intimacy. It has divided by self-orientation, meaning how much is this person including themselves within what they're trying to do for me? Now, you want your self-orientation to be low, because when you're helping others, you shouldn't be thinking about yourself. So when you complete that assessment and, you know, the self-orientation part is high, that means you trying to just look out for you. And that's probably why people can't trust you. And so it's important that and you know, this plays a role in sales, right? Because people know, like, if you know my title as a salesperson, you know I'm trying to sell you something. The goal is to build the relationship, where you're so focused on building the relationship and creating an experience that the sale is a byproduct, right? The sale just going to automatically happen versus me knowing and feeling, okay, you're trying to sell me something because that's your job. We never want to feel like that. And so I always say, like, the people that work in the sales industry that are phenomenal at it, they genuinely love people and they want to help people. And so, well, the people that, you know, are that have the longevity in the industry, because there are people that are good that don't really have good spirits, but we're not going to focus on those people. But you genuinely have to focus on selling an experience versus trying to sell a specific product. And so taking this back to self, you never want to make people feel like you're trying to just make sure that you benefit from a situation, because it can come off in your words, it can come off in your body language. It's just not good. Okay, it's just not good. So take some time. So the website, go to trustquiz.pagacademy.com. Take the quiz. Okay, I'm gonna show you my results real quick. One second. Let me pull up my results because I was above average. So I just want to toot my horn real quick, just for a second. Okay, come on. All right. Pow. So my trust quotient was 14.8 out of 15. That's pretty high. So the average is about 7. So I'm really curious to know what y'all score on this test, on this quick little quiz. It literally took me like 3 or 4 minutes to complete it. But I think it's something too that you can just continuously take to kind of monitor your progress. I'm so big on assessments and being able to see where I was able to, okay, we're back. Being able to see how I've grown. You know, now that we're not in school anymore, we don't have any type of measurement of our success. And so there's a lot of cool different free assessments online that I use to measure my success and measure my personal growth that I'm going to continuously share with you. So I love you guys. This was phenomenal. Next week, I'm going to talk about who you can trust to be your accountability partner. That's the next level. But you know, we're taking this baby steps. So share this training, share the link to the quiz. This is some good information that everybody needs to know. We should be helping everybody grow. All right. This is that part where we're voluntarily sharing information to help other people win. That's the type of culture